This is awesome. Welcome, welcome. Hey, this is Tammy. I am in Idaho, and we are going to have a great live today. I'm really excited about this. All right, let me set you up a little bit straighter. How's that? Is that a little better? Okay, friends, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Meg Daily Pay. Hi, Lori. Fabulous. Thank you for helping me. I appreciate you so much. Hey, I've got a great live today. The question is about fears. How's that sound, right? That's where we want to start Tuesday. I don't know about that, but I do want to be able to conquer that. I want you to know that there's resources, there's ways that you can overcome fears. And specifically, this might sound strange, but the fear of not doing enough. So this is perfect, right? For us empty nesters, the retirees. When you look at having a 2-hour workday, and the thought comes to you, something just doesn't feel right, right? And we're like, hey, is there something else I'm supposed to be doing? Is there something else I supposed, right? And you get that feeling, that guilt, that anxiety. Are you doing enough? We're going to bust that open today. We're going to make a difference in our thinking. And I'm so glad you're joining me. Good morning. Hello. Hey, if you don't know me, hi, Nicole. Thank you for coming. And Susie, if you don't know me, my name is Tammy. I live in Idaho. That's in the States. We're right up there next to Canada. And I have my YouTube family with me and my TikTok family with me. So welcome. Hello, Isabella. Hello, welcome. I am going to hit the topic of fear, and specifically the fear of not doing enough. And I think that's a perfect topic for us Gen Xers, our stay-at-homes. Maybe you're an empty nester and you are looking at a 2-hour workday. Many digital marketers, right? You see us talking about that all the time. And some of you might get that feeling, is that real? Right? That's not how it's supposed to be, right? You're supposed to work hard and long. And I want to bust that myth today. So welcome, come on in, come on in. And specifically, digital marketers don't talk about this. They don't talk about fears in the business. And I want to be able to bust that open. And so we can have more confidence, happiness, enthusiasm, and not get stuck in our fears, our doubts, our guilt. We are going to let those go. We're going to let those go. So again, welcome in. We're talking about fears today. And specifically, I want you to think of it as a problem to be solved. Okay. If you can just change your mindset that these fears about the business, about a 2-hour workday, about am I really doing enough? We're going to work on that. It's a mindset. Have you ever thought of that? That it's actually a problem you can solve. Okay. So I love talking about mindset. I love talking about how to conquer problems, and it's possible. So, technically the first thing you have to think about is, can it be done? And if you have that belief, then you can move forward. So we're going to hit that today. We're going to start working on our mindset. And so the fear of not doing enough, right? Great topic for us women, our retirees, our empty nesters, because that's where I came from. I'm a mom of 2 grown girls. I have 1 grandbaby, and my husband worked. I was a 30-year stay at home. Now, I did work. I had out of college, all the jobs doing corporate America. So I get that, but it's been 30 years. And so this topic of doing enough, are you doing enough in your day, hits home for me in a slightly different way. All right. So thank you for joining me and all the hearts. You guys are great. I appreciate your time. And if you don't, go ahead and follow me or subscribe, and you can get more information on mindset training and working 2-hour work days. I love these topics. I have actually found the business for me. And I hope you can see my enthusiasm because I love it so much. I talk about it every day in my lives. So, welcome again. Hey, when you put that fear mentality on, when you're thinking about the guilt of, am I doing enough? You have to realize that's a sense of self rejection. You aren't satisfied. And that dissatisfaction's coming from inside. It's true, right? You feel like, I'm not doing enough. I have to produce more. I have to show up more for whatever reason, right? You feeling uncomfortable about your age. You're feeling uncomfortable about your education. There's something you're rejecting because you know what? You're most times, right? You are enough. Now maybe you need to grow some skills. That's hello, every time we start something new, we have to grow those skills. That's how life works. So, feeling uncomfortable with your skill level is different than, I'm not enough. And you have to let that go. And how do you do that? It's a mindset. Do you realize that self rejection, that guilt you're feeling, it's coming from a place inside? And first, acknowledge that. Acknowledge that it can change. That is the biggest step to self development, to know that you have the ability to change. Once you start here, all right, whatever you're thinking, it's coming from your heart. So you've got to start some meditation, some affirmations, and start getting inside you. You know what? I don't like this anymore. And maybe if it helps, get a little angry about it. I'm not satisfied with the way my life's going. I'm ready for the change. I've got to do something different. I hate being stuck. Does anybody get that? Are you understanding? Give me a wave. Have you been there? Do you understand that anger actually, you can use that energy, that momentum, and you get your courage up to say, I'm taking a step forward. I'm letting go of that guilt. I'm letting go of those fears, even if it's one at a time. Oh, thank you for the follow, Raven. You're wonderful. I appreciate you. So let's look at this. We're going to look at our fears, look at our guilt, and realize this is a bit of self-rejection. And what is it it's telling you? Okay? Because the fear of not doing enough is probably very unfounded. Okay? So, granted, if you are somebody who spends a lot of time in front of the TV, or you spend a lot of time scrolling on your phone, you know, that might be true. You aren't doing enough. But, many of us women, we really do um, put that guilt trip on ourselves. We carry that burden. Am I doing and doing enough? You're always out there trying to do more and help more people and whatever. Like, realize, yeah, in a 2-hour workday, um, you don't have to work 8 and 10-hour days. So we're going to get to that right next. Okay. So remember, we want to grow our happiness, the enthusiasm, our confidence. You want that. You want to let go of the fear, the guilt, and you have to step over that bridge of courage. It's possible. You can make those changes. So let's start with that belief. Give yourself the pep talk, "Yes, I can believe that." Okay, and then you're on your way. That's the first step. You can change your mind about these things, okay? And you know what? I do wanna touch on this. I do remember having fears and and it's such a down energy. It zaps your energy. And when you are starting something new, you wanna hold on to that energy, that enthusiasm that got you into trying something new. And then sometimes our thoughts, right? They worm their way in and they're like, I don't know. I whatever, right? Let's go back to that moment when you chose to make that difference, when you chose to make a new decision. You chose to do a new business. You're choosing to learn new skills. Pat yourself on the back, right? Like you weren't that person yesterday. You're making progress. Keep that energy level up, your enthusiasm up, and know it can happen. It's really true. So, we're today, specific topic about the fear of not doing enough, even if you have a flexible schedule. So many of us are talking about the 2-hour workday. And a lot of digital marketers aren't talking about that feeling that comes up that you're not doing enough. And I want to be there for you. Um, it's normal. It's normal to have that feeling. Come on, we're women, we're empty nesters. We want to do more to show we're capable. But let's start um, thinking about it differently. That is it possible that having a 2-hour workday is enough? So let's dive into that a little bit. Okay. So have you ever wondered if you're feeling like that's not enough? You're not alone, right? We said it's normal. So today we're going to talk about a hidden fear that many people face. Okay. You're not alone. When you're starting a business that has flexible hours, they're shorter hours, and it's a feeling like you're not doing enough. But you wanted this. You wanted time freedom. And so you chose a business model that allows you to work 2 hours a day. And even the 2 hours a day is flexible. So how do you reconcile all this extra time? I felt that when as an empty nester for the first time. I homeschooled my kids. I homeschooled my kids. They're 11 and 12 years. And then they left home, something I dedicated all those years to. And then they leave and the homeschool groups leave, and I've got a lot of free time. And it feels uncomfortable. Well, you know what? It's new. So it should feel uncomfortable. You're not used to it. It's okay. So we're going to let go of the fear of not doing enough first by recognizing it's normal. All right? So stick with me. We're going to talk about more about this. Now, I think the reason that comes up many times. Now think about this. Many times we think we're not doing enough. Maybe it's because you came out of the corporate world. Maybe it's because you're used to a 9 to 5 system or or you know, 8 to 6, right? If we put in the commute time and all of these things, maybe it's because you've come out of that system. We talk about this all the time when we homeschool. Kids that come out of the school programs and then they get to work independently or in a homeschool situation, and they get so much more done in 2 hours than they ever did in government schools. It's the same way with coming home or coming out of the corporate world. You're used to a system that was not designed to be focus driven, right? The bell would ring every 50 minutes and you'd be lost in the work you were doing and interruptions, interruptions, interruptions. And that's not conducive to having a very concentrated workflow, focused time. And so these are the differences we're talking about. So if you're coming out of that 9 to 5, you might think like a 2-hour workday, that's like that can't really be the best way. Like that just is too foreign to you. Okay. So I do remember I left my structured job. Now, granted, the last time I worked outside of the home was 30 years ago, but it did start to feel uncomfortable. When you have the entire day to do your stuff, it feels like nothing's getting done. And it's hard to harness that time. And then you do sit back and think, man, am I really doing enough? And I don't know if it's technically a fear, but it is, you definitely feel some guilt. And we want to break free of that. But I think that's one place it can come from, that you're not working hard enough. I thought success was working harder, right? We've been taught that. Us Gen Xers, we've been taught, gotta work harder, gotta work longer. And today that's not necessarily true. If you can work in the digital world, in the digital space, and you have a digital product, right? You don't have to have 8 hours to do the same thing like we used to do. In fact, the digital world might even make you feel like you're cheating. But that's because it's new, right? We're not used to this model. Okay, I'm speaking to Gen Xers, I'm talking to retirees. We're not used to that model. And especially um that's how I view my dad, the man who worked a lot, right? We watched our parents work hard to achieve something at their jobs. Maybe they were looking for status, recognition. They're wanting to achieve something in their job. And maybe it's a bonus. I got to put in those extra hours. I want the bonus or the raise. I have to show up and do certain things to get that raise. And we watched our parents hard. They worked really hard. They made sacrifices. They had to make hard decisions. And I noticed that my parents struggle, but my husband also. I watched him go from, an apprentice to the chief running high-rise buildings and the struggles and decisions he had to make, how hard that was. And let alone his commute, adding in that commute, right? My husband commuted 80 miles one way on a motorcycle in the snow, in the 100 degrees, in the wind, in the rain. He did that for our family. And you thought, that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have that type of stamina and work ethic. But today it's a digital world. And how do you change your mind that it's okay? You can have a 2-hour workday and let that sink in that it's possible, and it's okay to have time freedom. That's what you wanted anyway. That's why you came to the program anyway. You wanted time freedom. That old lifestyle of working hard, really, it's physically exhausting. But if there was a better way, another way, and we have that today, how do we let go of those fears and doubts that it's the right way? It's just different. It's just different. And to change our minds about the way we used to think how work was, It's just different. So you have the flexible business you've always wanted, and it takes 2 hours of focused activity, and you'll start letting go of that comparison. And that's what I mean by it's normal. You have to have that transition phase. And so that's why we're talking about it. The fear of not doing enough, we can change our minds about that. You can start to get comfortable and realize the freedom is something we can have and enjoy. And in fact, it starts to feel like it's a vacation. Oh, Tony, my friend. Hey, dude. Good morning. Here's my rock star Tony. He's amazing. Thank you, friend. You're you're so kind. When you start this business, it's going to feel like a vacation. And you've got to be able to change your mindset and change your feelings about that because you want to keep that low energy out and embrace this time freedom that you now have. All right, so next, we're talking about productivity. So, first, let me recap. When we're talking about fear and we're talking about the fear of not doing enough, it started with, I believe, one with comparison. When we compared a 9 to 5 lifestyle to a 2-hour workday, and our brain's a little confused about, is this possible? Why do I feel so guilty? Am I not doing enough? And it's because you're comparing. In fact, actually, truth be told, you're comparing apples and oranges. And that's where the confusion comes in, that I'm not doing enough. Well, yeah, if you're focused and doing the income producing activities in 2 hours, then you are doing enough and you can enjoy the time freedom. You're comparing a job of 9 to 5 where you're paid to punch in and then you can go get coffee and you can go fix your hair and you can go say hi to Mary and Joe and whoever, right? And you're paid for it. When you work from home, you don't have those distractions. You don't have those interruptions. You can focus and get all those activities done in 2 hours. So the comparison, I think, leads to that doubt or the fear and the guilt. Am I doing enough? Okay, so once you recognize that, we can let it go. We can change our mind on how we look at that. So the second thing, your productivity. Productivity isn't about the number of hours worked. It's about the results you create. So again, if we think about the 9 to 5, what are the results? Right? Can you measure the time you're spent getting coffee or scrolling on your phone, checking your text messages while you are at work in a 9 to 5? Let me help my YouTube family. There you go. And versus the productivity you can have when you work from home, when you have a 2-hour workday. I've done lessons on this. Go back to my lives on YouTube and watch where I talk about that forcing yourself to work 2 hours actually gets more done versus if you have the 8 hours to get your 2 hours worth of work done. And I've done that. When I started digital marketing, that's how I did my day. It took me all day to get the 2 hours done because I had to develop a new skill. I had to develop better habits. And and I had to get good at what I was doing, making the content on TikTok, getting my lives started and how it all plays together, right? Those were skills I had to learn. And then I got better at my 2 hours, and now I can schedule my 2 hours versus saying, "Okay, I'm gonna show up at my job for 8 hours and whatever happens, happens, and just know I'm gonna get paid." When you work for yourself, when you have your own business, it doesn't work that way. You are responsible for your time. You are responsible for the results. You have to do the activities that bring results. Okay, so productivity isn't about the number of hours worked. You're not any more productive, right? Have you made a checklist of everything you need to do for the day in your business? And as you get those things done, mark them off and you're done. And now you have the time freedom. That's why you came to the business in the first place. Okay. So let's talk about the mindset in this, the mindset of productivity, especially when you're learning to shift from the hustle mentally to focusing on those high value tasks. So I realized that the 2 hours I spent each day on focused work, creating the content, going lives, connecting with the customers, right? Answering the comments, the questions, and um, and just engaging with them that way. It led to more results. Okay, so cleaning your desk does not lead to results. And doing the income producing activity leads to the results, right? So let go of being busy because being busy doesn't pay your bills. Engaging with your customers, engaging with the content, help building more content so they can find you. That's the income producing activities. That's why I love coming to TikTok. I can find people, like-minded people who want what I have because I've made the content that's available 24 hours a day, and I have the systems in place 24 hours a day, and they can find me when they're ready. All right, you're getting it. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much, buddy. I want you to start doing the right things. That's the difference. When you're coming from 9 to 5 to a home business, it's about doing the right things. Okay, you don't get paid cleaning your desk or you've got to focus. Focus on doing the right things and you're going to get better. And granted, now this is a caveat. It might take you 2 hours to learn the skills, right? Of making social media content. If your goal is 3 pieces of content every day, then and you're new, right? What do I talk about? How do I edit? How do I write captions? If all of these things are new, then it might take you 2 hours to come up with 3 videos. That's your 2-hour workday. And be comfortable with that because you're learning. There's a learning curve, and that's okay. That's okay because this isn't a get rich quick program. You get to learn at your own pace. So you're building up your skills and you're harnessing that 2-hour workday of productivity, doing the right things. And don't let fear stand in your way that you're not good enough, that it's not right. This is a day by day learning, and you can earn while you learn, right? So this is me, nevertoolateincome.com. I want to share that with you because if you want more information on what I'm talking about, I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to letting go of your fears, of changing your mindset. This is just some of the things I want to share with you today, right now. If you want more, you can go to nevertoolateincome.com and get more information on what I'm talking about. A 2-hour workday. If you are brand new to that concept, then you definitely want more of this. Okay, next is setting realistic goals and recognizing your small wins. Okay, that's another way to overcome your fears. So, your goals and your wins. Hey, Kareen. Thank you, friend. Hello. Good morning. You caught me. Thank you, Tony and Kareen. You guys are awesome. So, getting over that fear of not doing enough, getting over that fear of you have a 2-hour workday. This can't be real, right? Am I doing enough? This doesn't seem right. It seems like a vacation. And it is in the sense that it's going to feel that way because it's new, right? So you're comparing what you used to do in a 9 to 5, and you're comparing the productivity you had in your old business, your old life, versus a 2-hour workday. Now, how to help overcome that fear of doing enough? I want you to look at your goals. So, some of the goals we have in a 2-hour workday is copying, pasting ads, making 3 pieces of social media content, going live every day, connecting with your customers, people that have questions, answering emails, answering the comments on your TikToks or your YouTube channel. And there's your 2-hour workday. So if you make a list of what each of those things are, did you accomplish your goals? Did you shoot for them? We've talked about goal setting before. If your goals are so big and so huge, I want to make 10K months. I want to have $1 million in my bank account. And those seem like they are 100 yards away. And if you could pull out an arrow, unlimited arrows to reach your target, right? Then document your wins. You're getting closer. You're getting closer. Instead of taking 2 hours to make my social media post, it now takes me 30 minutes. That's a win. You've grown new skills. You're changing your mindset. You're letting go of the fears and guilt that you didn't do enough because you've accomplished your goals. You did enough. I just saw a reel the other day. It was a teacher. She's reenacting what a teacher was asked. And the question was, here's a self-evaluation. Have you ever done a self-evaluation, right? They ask you, you need to rate your own performance, right? They wanted their feedback. So the principal comes in and says, here's my self-evaluation form, the teacher says to him. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, as he's reading over it, the teacher is saying, "I'm so glad I stopped to do this because it made me realize that I really am doing enough. I'm a great teacher." Sometimes you don't feel that appreciation and you wonder if you're doing enough and between the students and the parents, and she's like, "I'm really feeling positive. I'm glad I stopped to evaluate," right? So you're evaluating your goals and wins. And the principal turns to her and said, "You marked yourself excellent in all the categories." And she's like, "Well, yeah." Because she met her goals. She knew, she had the confidence that she was doing enough because she met the goals. And then she started celebrating her wins by saying it, affirming it, that I did enough. I'm really good at my job. Thank you for stopping and asking. And the principal had a conniption because, this was a scenario of a real school situation where people don't appreciate you. Or they'll say, how could you mark yourself excellent in everything? That's a superhuman. Like, nobody is ever excellent in everything. And that's probably true, but did you meet your goals? That's what she was saying. You said, "Did I meet my standards? How are my kids doing? What's the feedback? Do I see the results?" And so she said, "Yes, I see the results. I've met the goals. And so, yeah, I'm celebrating. I'm a good teacher." And so it was a sarcastic thing, but it's true. A lot of people say, "No, you're not doing enough." And that's that small voice in the back of your head. We've got to nip that in the bud that says you're not enough, that says you need to do more. And that's not what this business has. This business is a 2-hour workday to give you time freedom. So if you met your goals for the day, and if you follow the system, the plan, you will reach your financial goals. You will reach your time freedom goals, but document that and celebrate your wins. No, you have done enough. Just knowing that, you let go of the guilt. You let go of the fear. I want you to let go of the comparison of 9 to 5. Let go of that productivity level, like realizing 8-hour days doesn't mean I'm gonna produce, right? Or have all the results if I just do what I'm supposed to be doing in my 2-hour workday. Then you have achieved your results. All right, so make some goals for yourself. If you're new to a 2-hour workday, you've got to have a plan. That's the best way to harness that energy, harness your time, because it can slip away. I've done it too many times. And that's how I know that I think, oh, I've got all day. I'm going to make those social media posts later, after lunch, after this, phone call, after dinner, and then the day went away because the task was so small or so easy. You didn't get it done. So that's why, having an 8-hour day doesn't always mean you're going to be more productive, but have your goals set for the day. And for me, my goals are to be done in the morning so I can have the rest of the day. Enjoy that time freedom with your spouse, your kids, with your aging parents, right? Making those phone calls or doing those visits. That's what we want. That's a main goal. And when you've gotten your work done in 2 hours, celebrate that. Celebrate that. So if you feel like you're not doing enough, it's not about working more hours. It's about focusing on the right things. I want you to measure your results and celebrate your progress, and that will help change your mind about the guilt and the fear of doing enough. Because you have the proof. You've got the results of doing the right things, and then you can embrace that time freedom, okay? So this mindset is what has allowed me to build a successful online business, even with just a couple hours a day. So if this resonates with you, is this something you want? You've been looking for? When I discovered this 3 months ago, I couldn't believe my eyes that this was a new way of doing things. And of course, right? We're in a digital world now. Why can't we work 2-hour days on our cell phone with social media and make an income? If you're looking for $900 a week, would that make a difference? What about $900 days? $900 days is over 300,000 K a year. Would that make a difference? You could be changing your zip code, putting your kids in new schools. You could be taking those trips you've put off. I remember missing my grandbaby's birth or my daughter's wedding because the funds weren't there. You want to have time freedom to get to visit the family and do those memories and make those connections. But to have that financial freedom too, to not worry about my bank account to make those last minute plane tickets for the family, all right? Think big, not just for you, but for your family. For me, I want to leave a legacy and not a burden of debt. So we want to let go of that fear of not doing enough. It's a brand new age. Let's embrace this style of business. If you want more information, nevertoolateincome.com. Like I said, I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more to this. The the mentoring, the coaching, the challenges to things you thought life had to be that way, right? What if you were shown another way? Right. So I appreciate give me a follow, give me a subscribe, and tell me what you think, right? Come to nevertoolateincome.com. You're going to get an email from me and you can reply to me. You can ask your questions on social media, but you could reply to me in an email and I'll get back to you. We're in a digital age. Let's use the digital side of things, right? No more DMing, texting, calling. Let's use the technologies to harness the time freedom. That's why I say reach out with email. Let's keep this on social media, right? So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys so much. Hello from Oregon. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate your time. Hey, Steve and Corrine, you guys have been awesome. I appreciate your support today. And I really appreciate you spending your morning with me and your time. And I want you to commit to doing something big today, all right? And let me know. Did you implement any of these ideas? Are you ready to start your own online digital marketing business? I have lots of um, programs for you to choose from, so I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, friends. You guys are amazing. All right, you guys have a great day, and I will catch you tomorrow. And thank you to my YouTube family. I loved having you here today. And if there's anything you need to know, comment in the live, put a comment down and I can answer you, or go to nevertoolateincome.com and get more information on having a successful digital marketing business. Have a great day.